Hello there and welcome back to Building with the Boys. We have now got issue 25 of The Doll's House. Here we are, issue number 25. Now, you don't get a lot in this one, you really don't, but what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking all the panels we've made up to this point for the frozen room and adding them to the frozen room. However, we do have a problem with this panel, so we're not going to add this one. We are going to add this one, and we are going to add the one we're about to build. Now, I ummed and ahed about this on whether or not to install these panels or not, because the concern was if we put these in when we get the replacement, is the replacement going to go in okay? It will. I've kind of retrofitted everything up to this point and it seems fine. Now the concern is not for the panels, the concern's for the door. We're going to have any issues putting the door frame in? No, because again I have jumped ahead and I've opened pack 26 and checked that the door frames fit, and they do, even when you put these panels in. So I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to put these panels in, and I don't see any reason why we can't put the little panel in after. Now when it comes to the door, we'll address that in number 26. Again, I don't like to jump ahead, I like to stick to the instructions, but we're going to slightly deviate from the instructions in 26 to account for the fact that we have this missing panel. So that's it really. I mean, there's not loads with this one. I mean, we're essentially making a fairly small panel for the frozen room. We do get some nice bits. We get some bits for Donald's room. We get a kind of lovely little cocktail table, and the cocktail is actually very impressive. Because again, we'll talk about it. We'll have a look at it in a minute, and we'll talk about the cocktail. So it's a fairly quick one, this one. We're going to put this panel together. We're going to bring the house over, and we're going to apply the two panels. We're not putting that third panel in. It doesn't fit flush, unless you're prepared to. There's no reason to do it. I don't know. I'm not even going to advise how to fit this panel, because there's no point in fitting it. We are getting a replacement. So let's take a look at the parts and let's get this done. Okay, so looking at our pretties for this month, with this pack, we've got this rather lovely cocktail table for Donald's room. It's got the fish design. It fits his nautical theme, the beach theme of that room. It's lovely. But the highlight for me, easily, is this little cocktail that comes with it. Now, this thing is ridiculously detailed. You can see the little Donald hat on it. It's got the little D for Donald flag there. The glass has got feet like Donald Duck, but the actual glass itself is shaped like, Donald Duck's butt. So it's just a gorgeous little thing. And I mean, it's this level of detail that I've said it before, I'll say it again, I'll keep saying it, that just really makes this thing special. Because I mean, again, a lazy design could have just gone, here you go, here's a generic cocktail. But I mean, it's a Donald Duck cocktail, and it just looks spectacular. It really does. I think that is a gorgeous thing. And it is. It's these things that really make this thing come to life. And I think it's what makes it a Disney doll's house, not just a doll's house, These little, and they're all over the house. I think it's just gorgeous. It really is. And this wouldn't have been easy to produce. It wouldn't have been easy, and it wouldn't have been cheap either, because they couldn't have repurposed bits to do it. So this would all have been fresh moldings for this, and it's a gorgeous thing. It really is. The actual build parts we get for this stage are really not that much. So we get paneling that we all recognise, and the three parts here. So what makes this panel different to the other panels is there's no slanted edge. So what you're going to need to do, I mean, it makes it easier because you don't got to worry about, lining up edges or anything like that. So this is your bottom panel. So making sure your numbers up the right way. The bottom part's going to go on there, and you just push down to make sure that they sit flush. So how bad is that? So they sit flush. So flush either side. And you need this thing to go as far up to the wall as it can when we put it in, so we leave enough gap for that door frame to go in. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get this built, and again, I mean, you know what? I'll film it. I wasn't going to. I thought, you know what? I've done that many panels. I thought, what's the point of filming it? But it doesn't take that long, so why not? Let's go for it. We can show kind of speed panel build. Again, I don't advise using speed, but we've done that this many times now. Now, not just with Frozen, with the Mickey panels as well. This is nothing new to us. We're becoming old hands at these panels. Now, thankfully, there are very few more of these panels left to do, because no other room in the house has paneling like this. So once we're done with the frozen panels, that's it for sort of wall paneling. Nowhere else has it. There is something similar in Beauty and the Beast's room, but it's not like this. You don't make these panels. Bizarrely, a lot of the paneling up in the Beauty and the Beast room is actually plastic, and that's because it makes up part of the roof section of the house. So there's not a ton of paneling up there. Certainly not you have to put together. I mean, there's a lot of stickers on the paneling up there, but it's a bit of a weird one. The reason why, if you're alarmed by hearing that it's plastic, is because the weight. I mean, you already feel how heavy your house is getting. If you make your third floor out of solid wood, there'd be a concern that it would start to bow and buckle and affect the rest of the house. So the top section of the house is a plastic fascia that we put cladding on top of. So there's nice wooden cladding that goes on it, but the actual internal structure is not wooden on the top floors. So that is that panel done. I mean, we just have to add the pieces now. So I'll get that part done and we'll take a look. So here we have our complete panel. Simple enough, but as you can see from this one, there is no bevels on the end. So this one is going to sit flush to as far to that beam as you can get it, because we need to allow for room for the door frame. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow this proper time to dry, and then we are going to apply it to the room. I'll bring the house over and we'll apply it to the frozen room. Okay, so I've brought our house back up, and I've got the large panel we've just built. I've already glued this, so you can see I've got the glue on there already. I'm going to install this on the back wall. Now you want to make sure it's completely flush and it fits in the channels. I've got some glue on the floor there, that's okay. So let's make sure that goes right in, and we want this as flush to this side as we can possibly get it, because what we don't want is it hindering any of the other panels that are going in. So that's glue. Okay, so that's that one in. He says. Okay, I'm going to let that one dry. Now the other one we're going to do is the panel that's going to fit here. So this is the panel we've just made. So I'm going to glue this one up. And again, with this one, we want it as far over as we can get it. Now, you'll see the one's got the lip, so that's going to go into the recess. So then we're going to slide that as far along as we can get it. And you want it as tight to that beam, just move the camera there, as tight to this beam as you can possibly get it. So that's how that one's going to go. Now, originally, had we have not had the error with this panel would have slotted in here. Now, this is the one that I've got, but again, because the bottom of this one isn't going to sit into a recess, it's not going to go flush up to there. So, I mean, again, you don't need to fit it. You can, but you don't need to. Just wait for your new one to come in. But I think we're okay to go ahead and fit these anyway. I mean, what would happen is that would fit in the recess and go up to there, but naturally they've made the error with the groove. So that's the situation that we've got. But I'm going to, again, I'm not going to fit this. This is just loosely going in so we can see that when we've got a proper one, we'll be good. We'll be good because this won't be protruding out as much. So it will fit into that recess. But that's where we are. So I'm going to get this one glued in. And we'll take a look at it then. So that's now glued in. Now, what you can do is if you have got, let's pop that there, if you've got stage 26, we can do something. Now, again, I don't like to jump ahead, but I think because of the unique circumstance we have with the missing correct part of the wall fascia, we have these parts that come in 26, which are the door jamb. So we can see if these fit once we would put these panels in. That one fits perfectly. So that's, yep, good. Now this is where you can have the issue with this one over here. So, yeah, see, I can already see. So that's as far as that one goes over. So can we fit a panel in? with that already attached. Yes. So we're good. We're good. These can't go any further over. Those are as tight as the wall as they can possibly get. So they're not. We're good. But again, I mean, there is a visible. I mean, it certainly protrudes at the bottom here, and it doesn't look good. But as I've said, you're getting the replacement. There's no need to fit it. But that is all there is to do in this stage. So it looks nice. I mean, the wall paneling looks nice there. I'm happy with it. Let's have a chat. And there it is. I mean, you can see from that one, it's not really slowing you down. You can still put these panels in. You don't have to. Again, if you'd prefer to wait for the whole thing, then go ahead. I mean, you can definitely wait. There's no, there's no rush to do any of this. Just make sure all your panels are where they need to be. Make sure everything's as flush to especially to that beam. Make sure everything's as flush to that beam as possible. And the wall as well. You don't want any gap. That needs to be flush as possible. Everything on the right hand side of the frozen entrance hall is not going to be visible. So even if you have got an unsightly gap, or you're thinking, oh, that looks a bit, you're never going to see it. The stairs are going to cover it up, and by the time that the ceiling's on, it's going to be physically impossible to see anything behind that staircase. You just won't be able to see it. It's impossible. But you need it flush to that wall, because that other panel's got to go in to allow for the door frame to fit in. So if you have got those door frame pieces, you can use those at this stage as a guide, just to make sure that everything's as flush as it can be, and you can feel as they go in that if they're protruding or anything like that. But you should be fine. It's an annoyance is what it is, that this has happened, because even though it's not key to the build, it's just annoying that isn't there, because it should look very different to what it does with that kind of dodgy panel there. In 26, we're going to be building the door. Now, if you look at the instructions tell you to build the door and then stop. They don't tell you to fit the door. We're going to fit the door. And the reason why we're going to fit the door is because there is literally no reason not to. I don't know why they don't tell you to fit the door, because all the components you need to fit the door are there. There's nothing in the next stage after that you need to fit the door or affects the fitting of the door, or nothing at all. There is no reason. But you won't have the instructions for it. Now, I do have the instructions for it, so I can tell you exactly how you fit the door, so we're not sort of bodging or guessing. I can tell you exactly how we do it, and I'll show you that on the next video. But that is it for this one. It's a short and sweet one, this one, I'm afraid, because again, with that panel kind of missing, it sort of slows. There's less to do. But again, don't panic about that. It's going to get replaced. I think it's going to replace in 34, 32, 34, I'm not sure. Fairly swift anyway. And everyone gets it as well. So it's not just going to be subscribers that get a replacement panel, everybody. So it will just be included in a pack. So one of those ones that bought from a news agent, it'll be in there with it as well. It's just kind of we know how to put them together, so it's not going to be a problem. Then we just slot it in. Now, you don't have to copy what I'm doing, so if you want to wait to fit your panels in, you can go back and watch my instructions later on that would work with the panels. You don't have to. If you're thinking I'm not so sure about this, then don't. If you're not comfortable with doing it, don't do it. And yeah, that's what I advise. So we're going to move on to stage 26 next, and that one is kind of the last time we're touching the house for a good couple of months, because we're going to be moving on to basement. But we'll talk about that on that one. Thanks for stopping by. If you haven't yet, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It helps us massively. Subscriptions, and it's free, costs you nothing, helps us huge, and it means you get to see all the builds that we're doing on the channel. In a world we can move anything at all, just be nice, and we will catch you on the next one.